then that connects to. There's so many chords, and I don't know what many of them do, so I'm scared to touch it.
Yeah.
Can I change the? Oh
Huh.
man.
There is a lot of weird things on here, huh?
Yeah, which is why I don't want to touch any of it. Can I change the lights? I can't. Damn.
Oh, that would have been nice.
That would have been cool.
For the vibes.
Yeah.
You hear anything?
I don't have my headphones on.
Oh.
Because if I have them on, I can't hear you talk.
Oh, and this goes to this thing.
Stop fiddling. We have to talk about Scarface.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
God damn it,
I was just hyper curious about how this worked. I'm sorry. I just wanted to. I just wanted to be like.
See how the sausage is made?
I like how you moved it, so I can't touch it anymore.
Stop touching it. Okay, let's stop fucking around.
At least it's picking up.
It is. Okay.
Wait, so in this one, can we all talk at the same time, or is
We
it...
can, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's see. We'll
That's-
see. We'll see if that works better or worse.
I know. How is that gonna work? It's gonna
I
be
don't know.
interesting.
It'll flow like a real
I guess we'll still
conversation.
need to raise our hands.
All right. Actually,
Teacher.
I want to feel like I'm like on a
Teacher.
podcast.
I want to talk, please.
Okay. Hello. This is episode 4 of the podcast. We are now in the designated multiple persons room. I'm here with my friends again, Andrew and Jalissa. Say something.
Yo, what's up?
Say something.
Hey.
Yeah, we're mad with power now. We can all talk at the same time. It's about to get loud in here.
Yeah, it's about to get real chaotic.
Yes.
You thought last week was bad?
Oh, you ain't
buckle
seen
up.
nothing.
That was only last
yet.
week. I thought that was 2 weeks ago.
Time is soup. Time is soup. I don't know. For this week's
Let me get my notes.
topic, we have another classic. We just did Jaws last week. This week we're doing Scarface
Yeah.
from 1983. If this was Andrew's pick, tell us why.
Yeah. So, according to my resources, Scarface is a 1983 crime film directed by Brian De Palma. The main plot follows Tony Montana, a Cuban immigrant played by Al Pacino, as he rises to power in the Miami drug trade. I always just heard it was a classic movie. I always thought the cover art was really cool, and I wanted to see what makes it such a hit.
I got hit in the head with my cord.
I know.
I'm trying to move it out the way.
Just hit you again.
Yeah, clearly. But yeah, it's one of the film bros legends.
It's a film bro iconic.
Yeah.
That's the name of the
Honestly, it's
podcast right there.
Mhm.
Film Bros.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's a good name, actually.
Yeah.
If I only covered classics, I would name it that.
Mhm.
But I don't, because I like myself.
No.
This is the second classic. I don't know how long we're gonna be on a classics kick. Next week, I'm
We're
gonna
changing
make
it
them. I'm gonna make them watch Laserhawk from Netflix, which is not
Right.
rated R. It is rated M, which is like
Okay.
one step
Oh,
above.
like a video
But
game.
it's
Is it
funny
really
because
one step above?
it's one step below
Okay.
One step above.
in the
Like,
rating
dang, it's
in the
R
rating
and M?
column. No,
RM.
R and M, R and B.
BTS.
Oh my
R.I.P.
God. R.I.P. No, it's because it's animated, so they can get away with a lot more while still being rated less than like live action
That
stuff.
makes sense.
And I think, like we said it before, it felt very tame, this movie, even though it was rated R. But I think that's because
Yeah.
it's from 1980s.
Like,
Yeah.
It's rated R, but there's like, I don't know, rated R movies now are like so gory, and I was ready for some gore, especially
Yeah.
the one scene where they're in the bathroom and there's a chainsaw going
Mhm.
on. I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, something's
I was
about
ready
to
for
go
some
down.
like hostile action.
I was ready to look away. No, I was respectfully looking away because I cannot do that. But then it was like just the blood being thrown on. him.
Yeah,
It
I was low key disappointed.
Like, yeah.
It was tasteful though. Like it didn't
was
like scar me,
tasteful.
or
It was still
pun
scary,
intended.
like,
But sorry.
I feel like I'm a little desensitized, so I was like, I don't even get to see whatever practical effects you were gonna use.
Yeah.
That's more my like. I'm not a psychopath. I don't like seeing gore, but
Yeah.
I do appreciate the practical effects when people do it in film.
Like his arm like cutting off or something like
yeah,
that.
it's like it's art.
Yeah.
It takes skill to do that.
Since their budget was 25 million.
What does that
Yeah.
account for inflation?
Oh, Universal made it, right? Oh, it had
Universal?
Did they?
Yeah. Is it at Universal?
What's
I could have sworn Universal, the little globe appeared.
Really?
Before yeah, it was like.
Scarface?
I
About
can't
Universal
remember.
Pictures. Yeah, it was Universal.
All I remember remember from the it's 3 hours long.
Yeah.
It feels like a
Yes.
lifetime ago, but I remember the scrolling text like Star Wars that it was
Oh, yeah.
explaining the
To be
The
honest,
Cuban
I
Some
barely
context.
immigration.
read it.
I did.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
It gave you context that you could have gleaned from the first scene, which
Yeah.
is like he's a Cuban refugee,
Yeah.
which
He's
is like
he's got a pass, but he
Mhm.
doesn't say he's got a pass.
But the whole thing
Yeah.
is like it sets up his relationship with Castro and his whole fight against like
Fidel
communism
Castro.
because like Castro sent a bunch of like criminals to the United States,
Yeah.
right? But he actually like opposes him. And that actually inspires a lot of his conflicts because he always gets in fights about like communism or people ask him where he's from and he's like
Yeah.
he's very hard-headed.
It's that whole thing of like conflating communism with tyranny, and Fidel Castro is another really famous. It's funny because he keeps saying like communists, they love telling you what to do, and I'm like, that's not what communism is. That is, but historical context
Yeah.
trumps
Yeah.
the actual definition.
But sorry,
Mm.
I don't know where I was going with that.
Let's just
Anyways,
segue.
Universal Studios made the film, and I just thought it was interesting.
That is really weird.
Last
That's
week we watched Jaws, which was also
A Universal.
From a Universal.
Really?
We're on a universal
Yeah.
pitch
Huh.
right now.
So we're really going through it.
That's interesting. When I think Universal, I don't think Scarface and Al Pacino. I think Harry Potter.
Oh, I think of E.T.
Oh, Harry Potter, interesting.
Yeah.
Technically, they're.
Are they
Warner Brothers?
not?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, wait, they
I
are.
think
They have a
Warner
ride.
Brothers, but I don't know how they got the rights. I don't know. They got
Money.
something going on in the
Mm.
background,
Oh,
but they
for
have
sure.
like part Harry Potter things.
Yeah, because I think of Universal Studios and getting a butterbeer. It's
Oh,
like,
Yeah.
gross.
It is
I think
damn
of it
good.
for the studio tour. I'm such an avid fan of that
Mhm.
studio.
Mm.
I know all the jokes. I know the punchlines.
Mm-hmm.
I
Could
know
recite
where
it
we're
word for
going,
word.
And if we're missing somewhere, I know where we're going. If we're missing that, or if a set's closed, I
Mhm.
know we're gonna go through like. A lot of the times, this is so off topic, but the Real Housewives has like it's like a little street there,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of Real Housewives like shows are filmed on there, and sometimes they'll close. That set is often closed because it's just like literally a basic street set, so it looks like a house
Mhm.
neighborhood area, and most of the time that's closed more often than other places in like the city set. So you'll like avoid that whole spot and just go through like a back corner and then cut through the Psycho house, which is kind of funny. Anyway, just my studio tour. There.
That's pretty cool.
Did this movie live up to the Universal blockbuster hit in your eyes? Was it a
Prestige.
classic?
Yeah, what do you think of it? I'm interested in your take on it.
Oh my gosh, I think it was definitely like, as a film bro, not really though. I think it was very, very well like put together. I think the story was really good, even though it was like not a concise like happy ending.
No.
Yes.
I think I'm satisfied as a
Mhm.
viewer. I was
Yeah.
like, that was really good. It
Mhm.
was. I don't know if I would say dry, but there's like not a lot of action for the type of film that it would be. Normally, you would think like they're fighting more. There's a little bit more gore, more blood.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it was just like cussing people out. And
Yeah.
then, like,
Yeah, it
the
felt very
consequences.
much like temper tantrums and then the
Yeah.
Yeah.
consequences of those
also,
tantrums.
there's this is something that I was like, we'll see what Alyssa thinks about this, but like all the females in the like cast, it was kind of interesting how there's like power.
I have a
They
lot of
this
thoughts.
Power over them,
I have a lot of
or
thoughts.
like over the men, but also they're kind of powerless. So I was
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
let's see what she brings into this conversation.
I have a lot of thoughts, mostly about Elvira.
Yeah.
I was 1,000% from the minute she showed up. I was 1,000% more interested in her than I
Mhm.
was in Anthony. Anthony?
Yeah.
Oh, Tony?
Tony?
Oh, no.
You're
You're
talking
talking
about the old guy, right?
Tony. The old guy's Frank.
Oh, okay.
You're talking about the
okay.
main character.
We
Tony.
met a million
Yeah.
characters, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Tony for a second because Tony, I was also so much more interested in Manny than I was in Tony.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Manny.
Poor
All
Manny.
right. Well, spoiler alert.
R.I.P. Manny.
R.I.P.
Spoiler
my
alert
guy
for this
Manny.
40-year-old movie.
Yeah.
If you haven't already
That's
watched
basically
it.
a film bro classic.
Yeah, like if you
Yeah.
haven't watched it, then
Wah, wah,
sucks to
wah.
suck. Womp womp.
No, but yeah, Manny. R.I.P.
Poor fucking
I
Manny.
was
He was too
rooting
good
for
for him.
I
I
was.
was.
rooting for him.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna get out somehow. I don't know how, but I was really thinking like, oh, he's gonna get out of this like situation. He's probably gonna. Because I saw that whole thing with Gina, I was like, that's gonna work out.
Mhm.
Really?
That's, yeah,
I
thought it
was like,
gonna
Gina,
work
don't
out
do
for him.
this. Girl,
Oh.
don't
Poor
do
Gina,
this.
dude. I
Poor
don't know what
Gina.
happened to her. She
I thought it
went.
was just gonna work out for them together. I thought they were just gonna run away.
No,
I thought
from
they
the
ran
minute
away.
from the minute that the guy when Tony was in New York at like the end of the film and he was calling back to his goons and he was like, "Where the fuck is Manny?" And he's like, "I don't
yeah.
fucking know. He's been gone for days." I was like, he ran off with Gina. Anthony's gonna come and kill his ass, and then he's gonna get Great
See,
Gatsby.
I thought,
And then I was right.
I thought he was gonna like run away for good. I thought he left
Like,
for
leave?
good.
Yeah.
Because
No.
he knew that stuff was going down. Like he knew this wasn't gonna be a good
Mm-hmm.
time. Which is why he also got married, which was like a plot twist.
Yeah,
Why didn't he
that was-
leave? Why did he just like go so close? Like it was so easy to find him.
Yeah, that was another thing that I was like, dude, you know that he's gonna go off his rocker once he knows that you're with Gina. And
Yeah.
then he did. And you didn't even have time to say that you were married, which I assume would have been like the band-aid on all of it. It'd be like, we're not just fucking around, we're married.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Anthony probably would have been like, okay, you know
You're
what?
my
I
brother
respect
now.
that.
You're
Yeah.
my family.
Yeah, now you're family, which
But
makes it fine.
He
Still would
didn't
have been
get to
pissed,
that.
but
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was like coked out. He's
He
on a
was-
bunch of drugs, so
I think in the same day he did like 5 different hits like before he went into the mountain. Like the
Yeah.
snow mountain on his desk.
Oh
yeah.
That-
Oh yeah, yeah.
That shot of him like slumped over and like
And there's just like the
just a mountain of coke in front of him as
Yeah.
like the shot like goes down to see how big it is and I'm like, oh my god, he's about to OD on this bitch.
Also, the
Yeah.
shots in this movie were like not anything crazy.
No.
Like nothing really stood out to me. It just looked very well put together.
There was a dolly zoom.
Yeah.
Was there?
I counted 2 dolly zooms.
Wait,
Yeah.
where?
There was one in the scene where Tony and Manolo are picking up Elvira to go to meet Frank, and then they buy a different car. So it's the scene where both of them are getting into the car,
Yeah.
and it's
Oh, okay.
zooming in on that.
Man,
And then
that
the
was a
second
little
one,
cheap,
I
that
did not
one.
make a note of, but I know it exists.
there's a lot of
only
dolly
cool
zooms probably.
transition I remember was one where it was like, I think it was when Tony had his like career already.
The stair
like,
shot? Are you talking about the stair shot?
Is it the stair? No, not that one. That one was.
Oh, I
cool.
like that little
Landing.
crane. No, I'm talking about the crane shot when their first mission.
Ooh,
To get
I
his
wrote a
green
note
card.
about that. That was a really cool
Yeah,
shot.
like the-
Green card.
Yeah, you know how to get his green card is to assassinate the dude, right? Or do the deal, sorry. The
Yeah.
drug deal with him.
Oh, is that what that was about? I
That's
thought
how
were
he
just
gets
trying to
into the
get
city.
money.
No, he wanted to get a green card because the
Yeah.
guy approaches him. He's like, "I will get you your green card if
Yeah.
you do this for me," and then it ends up going to shit. But he ends up.
Oh, I had
Yeah.
understood
So
that
the
as him
very
wanting
first
money.
mission that he got from Manny, he was like, we need to take a hit on this guy and then we get green cards. And then they get green cards, they go to Miami, and then the second job is to get the coke from the guy.
Oh, I must
And
have
that's
zoned out
the
on
that's the
this.
chainsaw.
Oh wait, I
scene.
know you're right. Sorry, yeah, you're right. The first mission was to kill the dude when he was like, "Libertad, libertad."
Oh,
That's the
Yeah.
first one.
Yeah.
Sorry,
The riot.
sorry.
And they also had
I got it wrong.
They
I got
had
it
a
wrong.
text screen that said these riots happened. I actually wrote that. I wrote down riots in Florida, August 11th, 1980.
Okay.
Wow.
Very
close to my
completely
birthday.
Okay, I was so lost for a second, but now
Sorry.
it was the
Mhm.
man who was like, what was he? He was just.
He was Fidel Castro's like right hand man, but he got him arrested or something.
Yeah,
Oh,
Fidel
And so
Castro
that-
was like, I
in
can't
jail.
trust you.
Yeah, so he came out of jail and then they killed him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and that was his.
That was his way to
of-
get a green card. To then go to
Yeah.
Miami and then rule Miami.
Okay, that is interesting.
With
I
cocaine.
completely did not. I wonder what scene we're talking about. Is it the one where it's just following him?
Which one? What are you talking about? The
The-
stair shot I was talking about.
Mm.
The one. It's when the second mission then, and then they go to the green stairs and it's like tracking them up as they're walking through.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
That's pretty
okay,
cool.
okay,
There's
okay.
also like while they're being like tortured, there's this shot of like it's from the window and then it goes down to the street of the car and then it goes back up to the window.
Oh yeah, that was a really
That one
good
was
shot.
really cool.
No, the one that I was thinking of is I think it's when Tony's already getting his career is made. Basically, he's the top dog,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they're moving money or something. Or no, he's like buying around all these like different things. He's got like his reality, not his reality show. His retail. No, what is it like?
What do you?
Realtors?
Real estate.
Realtor's office.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like Montana something.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he's
Montana
walking to the
Realtors.
camera, and it's him like walking, and then it gets black, and then he's walking. So he's, oh my gosh, how do I describe this?
Like it transitions into like.
Yeah, it's a transition shot, and it's him walking into the camera.
Turns to black.
And then it turns into a different scene, but he's walking away from the camera.
Also, like
So
walk
it's
through
he
the
walked
camera.
through the
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it was cool. I remember, I was like, oh, that's the
Yes.
most creative
There's, like-
shot I've seen so far.
There's
Yeah.
like thematic stuff to that. Like walking through the camera is like showing he'll walk through anybody in his way. He's like very like
really that fits his
headstrong.
character.
Yeah. So I'll even walk through the freaking camera, dude.
Yeah, I'll break the fourth wall.
It's like he's like very quick to be aggressive.
Yeah.
Which
He
I
like, gives no shits about anyone.
Yeah.
no.
Dude is like,
He
I
had
don't
mental
know.
health problems.
He absolutely has like BPD or some shit. Like
maybe,
he
but I think-
Oh yeah.
some personality disorder, I'm sure.
I don't know. I think he was just like headstrong.
You think so?
I think so.
I think it was bipolar.
I think he knew he meant business.
I mean, if you think toxic masculinity is also a mental illness, then yeah.
That's
That's
a
for
good.
sure.
That's a good.
That
Oh
is-
No, I
wow.
was also like, I wonder what she
It's
thinks of his
disease.
masculinity because
Yeah.
So
he
there
was crazy with. I think he was like so. I don't know, like some of his. He was so like. What is that?
What's weird though, he was also.
Machismo? He
Yeah,
was,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
so
Mhm.
machista.
Machismo.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, like this dude is. He's on it.
But
Mm-hmm.
weirdly, the only person he respected was his sister.
Yeah, okay, so that I want to talk about because the scene where he's like made it big and goes to his mother's house for the first time, and he's like, I made it big. I didn't come all this time because I wanted to see how good I've been, and then like tries to give his mom money and his
Mhm.
sister like that necklace.
Yeah.
And when that scene happened, I was like, oh, he's a mama's boy. Got it, makes sense.
Mm.
Because that tracks. Because the pyramid scheme of masculinity, of the patriarchy, is that you respect people who do hard work. His mother is obviously a hard worker, but
Mhm.
then conflict comes where you measure success. So he measured success obviously by like money.
Yeah.
And she measures it by like doing right by your family.
Yeah.
And he thinks he's
Yeah.
doing right by his family by getting money, but clearly she does not see it the same way, and that's
Mm-mm.
where all the conflict comes from. And then poor Gina is stuck in the middle, and like, I can see both sides of this equation, but I honestly think the mom was right to kick him out because, like,
Yeah.
I agree.
on the one hand, helping out your family with money, good thing to do. On the other hand, you're killing people and
And
like
selling drugs.
you're selling drugs and
she
like.
even says that she's like, this is blood money. or
Yeah, like you're making your
Mhm.
family a target by association.
I'm surprised
Yeah.
the mother didn't die.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Batty lived.
Batty, for
Lived to
real.
tell
But he
the
didn't
tale.
have that relationship with his mother, I think, the same way he did as the sister, because he looked at his sister like his like daughter in a sense. Because I think it was Manny who was
Yeah,
talking
but
about
then
He
it.
did say that he's like,
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know what the.
The ending.
Yeah. We don't talk about that.
Let's
Well,
not talk
actually,
about
we could
it.
talk about it. There's this weird thing about like looking at women as like trophies or like
Mhm.
achievements in this movie. Like
which
they
you can
have,
see with Elvira too.
yeah, they have like the cat calling, and he looks at her in the same way. He's like, I'm gonna have that woman, and I'm gonna kill her husband. And they think that, and she goes along with it anyways. Like she like gives him his like reward in a sense. Like
Yeah.
everyone's like chasing after this like sense of achievement through women.
Yeah, because
interesting.
the this narrative that if you do well in like your job, if you do well with money, then you get the girl because you've like that's like the achievement peak. Like
Mhm.
that's your reward for doing so good, for being a good capitalist. And it's like it's completely dehumanizing to the woman because it reduces her to an object
Mhm.
to be won. Shout
Yeah.
out Jasmine from Aladdin.
Shout
The one-
out to
the one-
Aladdin.
Remember? Iconic.
Is
I
it
am
the
not a
one-
prize to be won.
Yeah. Is it?
Oh my
She's
God.
giving like a speech to her dad, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
these three men in a room are arguing what to do with her, and she's like, "Bitch, I don't want to marry either of you."
Honestly, baddie.
Baddie for real.
Yeah.
That's so funny. What a funny like connection.
Yeah.
You just made right now.
She's the OG.
I didn't even notice that. I need to rewatch Aladdin now. On the next film.
Mhm.
you-
I'm just kidding. I've watched Aladdin a lot of times. Or have I?
We could talk about Aladdin.
No, but you know what? Going off of that like idea, I feel like Manny at first he was such a womanizer,
Mm-hmm.
but I think once his relationship with Gina is like settled, he definitely didn't look at women the same, and he was more like respectful
Mhm.
towards them, and you can see that when he was like treating like the bathtub scene everyone's there. Well, everyone being Tony, Manny, and is it Elvira?
Elvira,
Elvira,
Okay.
the blonde lady,
the
right?
blonde chick, yeah.
The
His
blonde
wife?
Girl. His wife, yes.
Yep.
Bad
He's
decision.
basically like beating her up, like verbally and almost physically. Like he was almost gonna.
Does he
beat her up.
physically beat her?
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
And a
He-
different scene, I thought.
In
He,
the
like,
dinner
stands up,
scene.
yeah. I don't know if he like.
He tries
punched her,
to.
but, like,
He
shook
tries
her
to
up.
like grab her hair
Yeah.
and like pull her, but then
Yeah.
Manolo is like, sit down, and he's so
Uh-huh.
coked up that he's just like goes with it.
Yeah.
Like he tries
So,
to for
I don't
sure.
know. I feel like in that scene, like he's kind of like just being awful to her verbally.
Yeah.
And Manny's like, no, like you need to chill, dude. And he even says something in Spanish, which I like hecka flew by my mind. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was like, you gotta like take care of your wife. Like this isn't
Yeah.
what a man does or something like that.
Yeah.
And I want to think that at that point, his relationship with Gina's already like started.
Had it been
or-
developed?
Well, yeah,
Mhm.
or being developed.
He's
That's
going through
why-
his character arc.
Yeah, he's going through his character arc
Yes.
about like maybe it's not like
Oh.
women are objects and maybe like you should listen because she actually also brings a point that Tony's like getting too like, protective and also like he's
Paranoid.
he's paranoid
Mhm.
about anything basically.
Yeah.
He's paranoid about
Yeah.
money. He always has to complain about someone.
He's getting sloppy.
Yeah, he's also
Yeah.
possessive. He was possessive over
Very
her for
possessive.
sure.
Yeah, he was very possessive, and she was like, "I have nothing to do here. Like, I can't even go out and do anything."
Yeah, I have a theory about Elvira and Tony actually, which I was paying a lot of
Mm.
attention to Elvira in the entire film. So like the first interaction they have is like I'm remembering it in the club where she's like, "Do you want to dance?"
Oh.
And like Frank is like, "No, I don't want to dance. I want to have a heart attack." And she goes like, "What about you?" And then Tony and her start dancing, and then they start like making small talk, and I can't like there's this back and forth, and he's like, why are you so mad for? You have everything you want." Like all these guys who wanna like
Oh yeah, want
Want
you.
you.
Have a nice body. Blah blah.
yeah,
blah.
yeah. And she's like, I can't remember what led up to this, but she's like, even if I was desperate, alone on an island
Yeah.
and begging for it, you'd be the last man I'd fuck.
Yeah.
And then it hard cuts to him in the car, and he's like, she wants me.
Yeah.
She wants me for real. I'm like, bitch, you are the Lulu.
He even sees her like on the stairs, I think, before, and
In
he's
the
like gawking at her,
Yeah,
and he's
you
like,
can-
I
it
will, I love
zooms
that
in on
woman.
him, and he's like,
That was the thing to go with that though, because what you're talking about Manny and Gina, I think what changed his point of view was that it wasn't so much as wanting the woman to have him acknowledge her. It was now, oh my God, she's acknowledging me.
yeah.
Like she sees who I am instead of like having women like flock for my attention. Like she is giving me her attention.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
He's
like,
putting value.
yeah,
in
yeah,
her
yeah, yeah.
judgment.
Like yeah.
With Gina and Manny.
Like for sure. Like I think like just the
Well,
idea.
She, like, noticed. I feel like with Manny's character, he was very respectful because he knew he didn't want to, like, disobey Tony. Because he
Mhm.
was like, you can't be with her, blah blah blah, from
Mhm.
that first moment. Because he really likes her, and he's like, wow, you didn't
Yeah.
tell me your sister's basically hot.
Yeah. Which side note, she's 20 years old.
She was 19.
Yeah,
I
she
think, in
was
that
19
scene.
when they met, and
Yeah.
then
I was like,
later in
over,
like the
like,
club scene,
years,
she
yeah.
said that she was 20, and I'm like, this chick is my age.
Yeah,
For real.
yeah.
She should not get involved with any of these motherfuckers.
No,
But she
for
did.
real. And she did.
And then
That's
she
so sad.
died.
And it was her biggest flaw.
Mhm.
Yeah, for real. There's a lot of weird like things about like shooting someone up with a machine gun in this movie. Like they carry the act in a weird way. Like they build up to it a lot. Like you know what I mean? It's not like so much as like,
Yeah.
oh, let me raid this window. Brrr. Like let me wait.
That's what I'm telling you, like the action in it is so.
Theatrical.
Even when
Yeah.
it
Like
was
Shakespearean,
happening,
it's like
I was
Shakespeare.
Like, I'm a little bored. I'm a little bored.
I was
I'm a little bored.
waiting. I was
Really?
waiting.
Yeah.
I think the scene that really got me is oh my god, when did I get scared? Oh, the chainsaw, which I
Oh,
was just
yeah.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
just because I was like, I'm not ready for this.
Mhm.
Also, but I was like, I don't think there's too much gore. In
You don't even like yeah,
No.
like you said, it's just the blood spray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I was like, it made I didn't know what was gonna happen. I thought they were really gonna
Mhm.
show like a lip being cut off.
But I like that.
But I
It's like
looked away.
tasteful.
That's when it was like scary.
Yeah.
Not scary, but I was like,
Yeah.
Suspenseful at the very
Yeah.
least.
way respectfully.
At the very
Thriller.
And
least.
then the other one was when, oh my god, when he kills a bunch of people in that room with Frank. He kills Frank. He kills this
yeah.
cop guy who I was
Oh.
so confused. What his
Mel
storyline was.
Bernstein. His
Yeah,
his
who
storyline
was
is that
that
he's a
guy?
dirty cop. That's pretty much
He's
it.
like, you're gonna shoot a cop? He's like,
Okay,
sure.
so-
Pew, pew.
Frank thinks okay. So remember when he and Omar goes to do this deal with Sosa
Yeah.
in Bolivia?
But then he throws him off the helicopter.
He throws him off the
I
helicopter
was so
because he's
confused
like
how
his
that
ass is a cop.
happened. Okay.
He because
Who was a cop?
the
The-
Omar,
the one who
the
was
guy
in the
that
car.
Tony came with.
Okay.
So they do this deal. He offs him, and then he's like, "I knew that he was a cop because my guy over there was like said he's a cop." And then they bring that info back to Frank, and he's like, "I'm just gonna believe that he's a cop because Sosa said so."
Mm.
The fuck you thinking? And then he's like, "You made this deal without my say so."
Mm.
Anthony did, and I made a note here is like Frank definitely thinks that he's about to be usurped. Like Tony's about to throw him overboard and take over his empire. So I think that's when he made the decision to be like, I'm going to
Kill him.
not kill him. I think he made the decision to work with Mel the cop and be like, okay, if you're working for me, then I can have like eyes on you and know what you're doing. Because if you're working for him and he's working for me, then that's basically just like I have all the information about you. But then while they're in the club and Frank comes in after the cop leaves because they made the deal that they planned, Elvira is hit on by Tony, and then that is what causes him to be like, I'm so mad, I'm gonna send a hit on that guy, even though he already made the deal with the cop.
Yeah. Wait, so
Oh wait, so he was gonna make a deal with the cop to just like spy on what he's doing,
Basically,
and
spy on
then
himself.
Frank made a deal with the cop to spy on
Tony.
Oh.
and just under the guise that the cop was working independently and was just a dirty cop, and then he and Tony would work together, and that would give him eyes and ears on his operation.
Then he got jealous because
and then he got
with his
jealous
wife. Okay.
because Tony hit on Elvira, and then he was
So
like,
did Tony know this when the cop went up to him?
I don't think he knew it then, but I think he was already suspecting it, and then when the hit was
So
like
why'd the
carried
cop
out.
Go, oh, just to see what he was on about, right?
Mhm.
Okay, I was so confused. Okay, I think I was
Yeah.
like not paying attention.
I never.
Because I was like, that whole like conversation between them, I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Like, where's
Mhm.
this plot going?
You could rewatch
then-
it maybe.
Maybe I should rewatch it.
I need
I
one.
did watch this last night. and I was
You're gonna
kinda
have to
like,
pay me to rewatch this.
No.
I think I don't want to be mean, but I think this movie that's 3 hours long, which is the genre of film that I like to call watching men think, is not too hard for me to infer the plot beats.
But we need to talk about Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Oh God.
That's a whole different story.
I
But
cannot talk about
I'd rather talk about
no.
Barbie.
I actually was entertained. I was entertained just because of Al Pacino. I think his character his acting is like he's really funny.
Yeah.
He's like genuinely
so,
funny.
Like, scary, but also funny and like not so serious. Like,
No.
some of his comments, I'm like, what are you saying?
So much of this I couldn't take him
Exactly.
seriously.
He's like, you cockroach. You cockroach. You fuck on me, you cockroach. I was like, whoa, what the? I feel like the lines, it was just like on the script, it's just like Al Pacino says something funny right here.
Yeah.
And then he like,
Improvise.
yeah, improvise
Go,
Al.
go.
He's crazy. He's in The Godfather.
Yes.
You know that?
Really?
Yeah,
Wait,
and he
what
plays like a
character does he play?
similar, I don't
I wonder
know.
if we got
I've never
that.
watched The Godfather, but I just
He's in
searched
a lot
up
of
right
film
now.
bro classics, I think.
Yeah, and a lot of like crime and
Is
like
he
thriller.
dead now?
No,
Probably.
no, he's not. He's
He's
not
not?
dead. No,
Are you sure?
Maybe, I
he's
don't
not
know.
dead.
Oh my God, he's still alive.
Yeah, I don't. He looks
He's still
totally
kicking?
different. Yeah, Al
he's
Pacino's still alive.
83.
Damn, just die.
No, oh my God, you didn't like Al Pacino? He's funny.
Eh,
Oh my gosh, he's 83.
I liked Manolo better. Every time he stood next to him, I'm like, well, I should be focused on you, but he's hotter.
This is him now.
Oh,
I don't know
Manny?
actually if this is him now,
Yeah, I
but
think
this-
Manny
No, he's even more
I
older.
thought Manny was hotter.
Yeah, Manny was
I also
fine.
have-
Manny was so fine.
He was so
He
fine.
was, he was funny.
When he died, oh, that was another shocker
That was
too.
yeah.
Oh, his
I
little
did not-
ring.
I
his
knew he was
ring
gonna
on his-
die.
Oh,
Okay, funny you say that because I noticed his ring and I was like, huh, I
the
wonder
Pandora
like,
ring.
I wonder like if he wore that ring before.
Mhm.
And then she says the line, "We just got married," and I was like, "Oh dang, it's going."
They actually never do a
down."
close up on the ring, but it's kind of cool that it's just like there to
No,
see.
but
Yeah.
I mean, like if you're a detail like
Like an analyst.
hawk, you're gonna
Yeah.
see it. And
Yeah,
you're
you're
like,
gonna be
"Wait,
like,
why is she
oh,
wearing a ring?
shit."
Why does he have a ring?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
they're married.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a very simple like. I think it's trying to emulate like that Shakespeare type of play, like a Shakespeare tragedy.
tragedy, yeah.
I
'Cause
looked
it's-
up some
yeah.
articles on it. I think one of the articles was like, it definitely has like Macbeth
Oh my
energy.
gosh, I was just
Yeah.
Or like,
that.
if not Macbeth, then Hamlet. One of the two.
Okay.
What's the difference again? I don't
I
remember.
can't remember.
I can't remember both.
Is it-
I only studied Hamlet. I don't remember.
Yeah, I
Isn't
don't remember
Macbeth,
Hamlet.
Like the one where it's a man.
It's like a king or something.
Yeah.
Is it basically? Is it just a Macbeth?
It's like a knight, isn't it? Isn't it like a knight story?
Macbeth.
Someone more knowledgeable will probably know. I know Hamlet's the one where he like duels
the
with like.
son.
Oh, Macbeth is about 3 witches tell the Scottish general Macbeth that he will be king of Scotland. Encouraged by his wife, Macbeth kills the king, becomes a new king, and kills more people out of paranoia. Civil war erupts to overthrow Macbeth, resulting in more deaths. So this is really Macbeth.
Wait, actually, yeah, I do know Macbeth. Sorry, I didn't. I read it.
Hamlet is much different. I think it's
with
Macbeth.
The son, right?
Hamlet's the one where he like has to prove that it's a ghost or some shit of his father.
Yes.
Talks to his
That
ghost,
is a really
yeah.
funny
And he
plot
dies
beat.
at the end, doesn't he?
He does.
What the fuck?
Everyone
From his
dies in
poisoned
Shakespeare.
sword.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tragedy, but it's really funny.
Yeah, see, I don't. That's the thing. Like, this movie is a classic, right? It's held up with like such like high regard. And then after the movie ended, I was like, oh, let's see what he's directed. I forget his name. I forget the director's name.
Oh, he's directed like nothing.
Yeah, I was like, I don't recognize any of these except Mission Impossible,
Dun,
the first Mission
dun,
Impossible
dun, dun,
movie.
dun.
But he's directed like a bunch of like crime, like thriller dramas.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a very like simple, very very. I don't know why it got so popular. Was it just Al
I think
Pacino?
it was just the acting, honestly.
Yeah.
And maybe the shock factor. Maybe it was just like.
That it was so different from everything before.
Yeah,
Really?
because like literally everyone dies in it. Even the main character dies.
Like, that's not crazy though. Like I feel like 1983.
No, that's kind of crazy.
I think maybe it's because, you know, when stuff is new, it doesn't take a lot to like blow the previous stuff out of the water. If you compare this to like Jaws, where we were like
It's so
singing its praise,
different.
it's so different because
no one. I mean, Quint dies, but it's not like Chief Brody dies. Imagine if he were to die.
no, I just feel like Jaws had a lot
Yeah.
more heart, and this was like
Uh.
more matter of fact. So that's why I wasn't like fully invested in it, and I also didn't really like Tony. I was invested in like everyone
Yeah.
else more than Tony,
Do you
and
think
then
this
he
movie
killed
hurt?
everyone else,
Yeah.
and then he got Great Gatsby.
You did get Great Gatsby.
He got shot in the back and fell in his pool. That is the
Wait,
definition.
Did this come out after the?
Great guy.
Is this really just the Great the Great Gatsby?
Great Gatsby has many different iterations. First,
Well, he's killed, right? Like in all of them.
But doesn't he fall into a
Yes.
pool?
He in every adaptation of The Great Gatsby, he is shot in the back and then
Is it
falls in
still
his pool.
Is it out of the public domain?
It's in the
Uh,
public domain now.
Oh.
It became
wow.
public domain like 2 years ago.
Oh wow, we can make a Great Gatsby film right now.
First screen adaptation of Great Gatsby released in 1926 by
Oh
Paramount.
no, that's way past. So it's already Great Gatsby.
Yeah, so they copied Great Gatsby.
They
Well, that's how he
1,000%
died.
copied
Yeah,
him.
unless if it's not historically accurate, but I'm gonna assume he died that way.
No, it's not like it's not based off of like a one person, is it?
I think it's inspired,
by Al
Al
Capone's
Pacino. Al Capone.
Al
Capone.
Cappuccino.
Cappuccino.
Al
Cappuccino.
Capone. Al
Macchiato.
Capone's nickname, I'm pretty sure, was Scarface. And at first I didn't understand it. I was so stupid. Literally, like, it's at the ending, I was like,
oh, yeah, you were
I was like,
"What's that
Jalissa.
scar on his face?"
Al
That's
Al
literally
Macchiato.
what he said.
And I was like, why do you call it Scarface? And I remember at the beginning, he was like, why do you have a scar on your face? I was like, oh shit.
No,
Got it,
no,
got it,
no,
got
you
it.
literally said, Andrew, word for word, said there was a close up on Tony's character. And his scar clearly on his face. And Andrew was like,
Why do they call it
what is
Scarface?
that scar on his face? Like, where did he get that? And then it's like silent.
Girly.
And he's like, oh.
It didn't even.
That's why they call
why
it
it's called
Scarface.
Which he never explains where he got it. He just said
Nope.
he was like
No.
fighting or something.
He's fighting against the
Well, I think
communists.
it's not even important.
Oh my gosh. We are missing a big clue, right? Or not clue, but like a big like
Plot point?
character or not. Yeah, plot. Prop. No. Prop? No. Prop. Like a prop.
Prop.
Mhm.
The tiger.
Tiger.
Oh. Is he really that big though? It's like a side story.
No, because
It's
like,
thematically
I see.
important.
and also we're Pacific Tiger.
Oh, we are. Let's all say our roar. Thanks.
No, but
Tiger
thought
represent.
That, like,
I was
don't
gonna be
know,
bigger.
It was kind of like a running gag. I thought it was funny.
I thought it was gonna come
I
out at the
thought it
final
was funny.
fight.
Oh.
That would've been badass if he was like, "You wanna fuck with me? Tiger, go!" It starts-
Tiger,
that-
attack!
that- at that point, this movie would have been like
That
the
would have been
best.
so sick, but they did. No.
They didn't have the
How
budget.
are they gonna
No.
do that?
They didn't even
They
have the
couldn't
budget
even
to.
show us a
CGI
leg
was
being chopped off.
yeah,
They're gonna
like-
show us tiger
Was
mauling.
that wasn't a real tiger though? I think it was CGI because they shot it in a steady shot with the crowd on the left side and the tiger on the right side. So they probably like put the film of like a tiger in like a zoo enclosure on top of that.
That's a fucked up zoo because it was like on a leash.
Yeah, I'm
Next
sure
to
they
a tree.
VFX'd it in because
Are you sure?
the way they designed that shot, I don't think they got a real tiger.
There
Or
were
maybe
many
they were not
times
like
where I
that
was
because
like,
it was, safety
this
things.
looked green screened. Even
Yeah.
like I'm not even sure when that technology happened, but I was like, someone CGI'd this.
Well, it's like it's existed. Like the thing about like Star Wars, like it's just like
That's
visual
true.
effects. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's all just like clever VFX.
hmm
It's pretty cool.
Well, it's a lot of miniatures. That's what Star Wars is.
There is a lot of
Yeah,
miniatures. in
and
Star
that was
Wars.
not a miniature tiger.
Did you know? Okay, side note. Did you know the Godzilla movies, the original one that was Japanese? It was
Guy in a suit.
a guy in the
Yeah.
suit, and he was messing up a Tokyo Japan miniature, and that was the practical effects.
How beautiful. I love
Don't
I love
you
practical
love
effects actually.
I love practical effects.
Film. Guys, I'm
History.
so sorry. The words are not here.
Film, film art, film,
Film, yeah.
film technical skills.
Background
Filmmaking.
stories.
I think
Filmmaking.
that's where I was going
Yeah.
with
Don't you just
Goodbye.
love it? I love filmmaking.
For real.
It's such an art.
I love film.
I love
I
film.
don't know. Overall rating, I would say it's like
that.
a
I liked it.
8.
I don't know if I'll watch it again just because it was really long.
Mhm.
It
And
was
it was kind of like
carried by Al
dry.
Pacino.
I don't know. I don't want to keep calling it dry, but it was just like you have to
No, you
really
can say
like
it.
not. Don't
We're not
Get
sponsored.
in there going like action movie. Although it
Really?
Is, I don't know.
I would go in
I don't
there.
get-
think
I get,
action,
like-
it is Mission Impossible. We're jumping off planes.
Oh.
We're doing like intense fight scenes.
No, but this is like
this
crime,
just,
like
a
drama.
fun fight.
I would say
Yeah.
drama.
Yeah, like
because this
action
didn't
drama.
feel. This didn't feel. It felt like it couldn't decide what genre it wanted to be.
Yeah.
No.
And
Because
it's
was,
kind
like,
of-
comedy.
Yeah, it's kind of part of this like subgenre of film, which is like gangster films, and a lot
Yeah.
of those films are also classics, as coined by the film bros. So it's like
Why?
Gross.
That's so weird. Why is
the,
this a classic?
connect? I think
then?
the
It's
connecting
weird.
link is just like the.
Westerns are also classics.
That's
And
true.
that's-
I think
seen
the
The Man with No
connecting
Name?
link though between specifically classics that film bros like claim is like the what is it called? The power fantasy, the machismo, the like
and, like, the
Yeah.
humor.
living
Yeah.
vicariously through this man that you relate to because you're both pieces of shit.
These movies ruin a generation of men. Do you think? Do you think that this
I
like
don't
contributed to that? Like, oh, I'm gonna be a badass. Because like some people could like read it and be like, oh, I shouldn't be like that guy because he's a dick and asshole. And some people be
Yeah.
like, this guy's badass. I'm gonna bottom my whole personality off of him.
Well, if you
Well,
think
there's-
about like multiple
No. Go.
multiple films still do that today where like it's reflecting back stuff and it's not showing it in a positive light like Rick and Morty.
Mm.
I watched all seven seasons recently, and I hate that I like it because it got bad, then it got good again, cause in season 7, but it got good because it started being more sincere.
Mm.
And when it was like season 1 through 4, people were like, Rick is so fucking badass. Like the toxic bros were like, if you need, you know
Is
that
Rick the
meme.
doctor?
Rick is the
little
scientist,
man?
yeah.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
It's like Back to the Future, right? Like parodies
Yes.
that, right?
There's a whole. We could go on
Oh,
a
we should
whole.
watch Back to the Future.
we could- I could- I could do a
it's
whole
good.
presentation about this, but it basically like, you know that meme that was like you have to have a certain IQ to understand Rick and Morty. You
Yeah.
don't.
Oh,
You
really?
don't. There was
I
that
never
was a
watched
whole
it.
that
I
was
never
a whole
watched it.
internet
Why?
meme.
Like what type of IQ? Like super high elite?
It's super high.
Because people want to sound like they want to be
Is it,
seen
like,
as if they
for
have
the
such a great
meme
taste.
factor, or because
I
it's, like,
think
there's a lot of
some
science
people.
in
I
it?
think one person was like, "There's no science in this
Oh,
bullshit."
okay.
It's like
I've never seen
pure.
it, so.
It's pure. Okay, it's pure like.
Dumb
just-
fodder.
Yeah, it's like fever dream material. Like that's what the science is. The science is Rick can do whatever he wants because he's the smartest man alive. That's what the science is. You don't need a
Mm.
high IQ to understand any of this shit. That was also when it was like its peak Pickle Rick meme, and it was like
Pickle
that
Rick.
shit. And it's, I
Why
think
did that
one,
blow up?
I think one person was like, I think one person sincerely went, you need to have a high IQ, and then everyone else went, you need to have a high IQ,
It's
making
the
fun of
songs.
him because you don't. You
Yeah.
don't need to have a high IQ to understand like this is an abusive household and he's a piece of shit, because being smart doesn't mean you're right all the time.
You think that's why it blew up? Is because it was just so dumb? Like,
It
the
was
plot
just
was
so
just super
dumb.
dumb? I'm talking about, Scarface. Like, it was just so straightforward, like, so, like,
What was my point? I had a point. I had a
I don't
different
know.
point.
Rick
What was
and Morty
it?
bad. I mean,
Rick and Morty
good?
I brought it up because I was relating it back to how Scarface. You were like it ruined a generation of men.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that it ruined a generation, but I think reflecting back stuff in a society where that is like reinforced as what is proper for a man to be, I think then inadvertently reinforces that idea.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of film bros are like, he's so fucking cool, he made it to the top, and then they forget that he dies at the end.
Yeah.
Alone
Yeah.
and like ODing on cocaine.
No, for
Like, they
real.
forgot all
He
the
did
deep-
die alone.
He died alone, scared, and there's like
Basically, like in a cage. Which
yeah,
is like what
which is
he
how
hated.
he lived in a cage when he said he'd never go back in one. His whole like his estate, his house,
Oh my
his
God.
paranoia.
Yeah, yeah.
He built his own cage and then he died in it.
Wow, this movie actually is kind of deep?
Little bird.
Question mark?
I don't know. This is kind of surface level for me.
This is every day.
this yeah, I do this every day. But it's a logical conclusion to the
Yeah.
thematic threads that they were putting in there at the start.
I think if you think about the time period when it came out, like 83, 80s
Mhm.
movies, you got like Rambo. It's all like, well, I mean, the first Rambo was like kind of deep.
Well,
But then,
that's
like, the other
also in
Rambo
big time when,
movies-
like, drugs.
Yeah, like it's all about like a badass character. Like, oh my God, it's like Terminator and it's like
Yeah.
Rambo and it's like this
Yeah.
action hero. I think it was just like the time that it was coming out. Everyone wanted that kind of
I
like,
think it was reflective of the time for sure, just because of like the drugs.
yeah. But then it's
That's
supposed to like,
iconic.
it's like a parody of
Mhm.
it because it's like, he's like a badass
Is it a
hero.
parody, though?
I think so. Because it's like a parody of like what a hero, badass hero is. Because we look at these guys like, oh, he's like killing so many guys, it's so cool. But then this guy's like, oh, he's killing so many guys, but he's also a piece of shit and he dies
I don't
alone.
see him as a hero. I think he's more like someone I fear.
But he fights communism, and they portray
Do
him.
we see him fight communism?
No, but he says he used that as an excuse to be an asshole. But
Yeah.
I think like they portray
I
him in a
know,
way to
I
be a
fear
hero.
And
him.
let's
As a
let's
viewer,
be
I
clear.
fear him.
Fidel Castro, a lot of tyrannical rulings in history, they do it under the guise of communism, and that's why the Red Scare happens, because communism is like
Oh my god, the Red Scare, that took me back a few
if
years.
you actually look up the
History.
definition of communism, it's the people first, right? That's the whole idea.
Yeah.
It's like we share our resources and no one has to suffer. That's communism by its definition.
But he
But in
abused it.
practice, it's used by people who want to be like tyrants. And then when it gets to the United States, it's like, well, this is what communism is. When in reality, that's literally the opposite of what communism is.
So he's fighting a fake war.
He's
against,
fighting a oppressive regime and calling it communism.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I mean, that's his character. He's not like a reliable narrator. He's not reliable.
No,
Dude.
he did say that he was in the army.
Oh yeah.
The
I'm sure he has
Gina-
like PTSD from some shit.
I'm
like,
sure.
Like he's just fucked up in the head.
Men will do anything but go to therapy.
That is like, that's a perfect way to describe this
Men
movie.
will do it.
I swear to God, because they're all just like killing each other.
That is a very good way of putting this movie in like a sentence.
If you like compile a list of all film bro movies, you could just
Oh my God.
men will do anything but go to therapy.
I'm sure
There's one
no.
thing. What?
No, I was just like for real.
Oh no, there's one character I want to talk about that we didn't talk about was the guy who actually kills him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
The unnamed,
random guy.
unmarked guy.
Terminator.
Yeah, Terminator.
That's what it's
He looked
called.
like Terminator.
What do you
to
think
me.
about that? I have an idea, but I want to hear you guys.
What do I think of it?
What does he
I think
represent?
It's like,
Who is he?
what does
Thematically?
represent?
Yeah, I thought he was like the Grim Reaper.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say like
Yeah.
maybe his like fear of, because he was always afraid of dying, in a way. Like he was never like, he was always like, oh, kill me, blah blah blah.
In this scene,
But-
he's getting shot with bullets, and he's like,
Yeah,
"Just take,
that
I'll
was
take your
crazy.
bullets."
Yeah.
And I was like, he's so OD'd on all that cocaine that he can't even feel
even feel it.
pain.
Yeah.
Can't even
Oh,
register
see,
what
I
pain
just
is.
took it as like, dang, he really is this baddie. He always said he is.
Yeah, and he's like, "No, dude, you're literally this close to dying anyway because you're OD'd on all that cocaine."
No, but that was crazy. I don't know. I just thought that it was like weird that that guy, he gets killed in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was always looking forward or like
Mm-hmm.
in front of him, but never really behind him.
Oh, that's kind of cool. That's a
It's-
good way to
yeah,
think about it,
especially
actually.
because the guy who killed Gina was behind him. And
Yeah.
even then you'd
Oh,
be
and he
like,
killed
oh,
her in
someone
front of
was
him.
behind me. Maybe I should check my back. You know.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, then he does shoot him up and says,
But
"Die,
he
die,
was also-
die."
he was also
You know what I mean?
No, but he was also comfortable with like him being protected from the back because his bodyguards and everything were
Oh.
always behind.
Yeah,
so, like, I
but
think
he
a
like
part
he
of
got
him-
rid of all the people who could have watched his back.
Yeah. No,
Because
but
he
I
was so
think, like,
self-destructive.
A part of him was like
What happened in the
naive.
end? Where does guys go?
They all died.
Oh, they all died.
He
d-
Oh,
he wouldn't
then-
open
that's
the
right.
door.
They assassinated him.
Yeah,
Or
they-
they,
One of them
they,
got shot from like below. He was like, "You gotta run," and he got shot with a shotgun.
Yeah.
by the Terminator dude.
No,
There
some
was
other
like
guy,
a
the
whole
long-haired
group of
guy.
yeah. There was a whole group of
Yeah.
like
And then there was the
assassins.
machine guy in the front, inside of the house, and then he didn't get let in, so he died.
What do you think about the ending? The idea of like having that climactic fight. He falls down the
That's a cool
stairs.
I think
death.
it was very
But then
fitting.
it just like
That's a very
credits.
cool. Oh,
You know what I mean? Like there's like
What is else there to say?
I guess so.
yeah.
Because like look at it from this perspective. I think I had the thought, which like he was pretty successful if you're measuring like monetary value as like success. But I
Mhm.
think the same things that get you to the top aren't the same things that have you stay there. Because once he
Yeah.
was there, like he was
That's
restless.
really-
He couldn't. He
yeah.
could like he's like a shark.
It's
He
like
can't
the
stop
whole
moving.
thing. Everyone said it. They're like, you can't trust anyone once you're at the.
Yeah, but he had people he trusted. Like he trusted
But he was
Manolo.
just paranoid.
He trusted Elvira to an extent. He trusted Gina, but then he killed all of them because he was so self-destructive.
Did he
couldn't-
trust Elvira? I don't know.
Elvira
He was just
didn't
like,
die. She.
Oh, what
Elvira just
happened?
didn't come back.
she
didn't
just
come
left.
back. But I
him.
feel like she.
Why'd she
might-
stay with him?
She might have died because.
Oh,
she
did
was,
I
like, ODing. Not ODing, but she was.
Oh, she
He
was.
She was addicted. Okay, I didn't even say what my theory was about Elvira. So
Yeah.
the whole relationship, right?
That was fake.
Like you said before, to an extent actually, because like Andrew said earlier when talking about the tiger and Elvira, the thematic parallel there is that Tony says first, I want to buy a tiger, like when they're buying a car, and like that's the start of the gag. And then when he confesses to her, like, I like you, the first moment I saw you, I was like, she's a tiger. She belongs to me. Like, I want to have her. So then we again have
Is
like
that really-
possession,
that flew by me.
obsession, objectification, dehumanizing, and then she like again just pushes him off. She never goes with him willingly. It's only when he kills her like
husband, right?
husband,
Even
sugar
then,
daddy,
like-
boyfriend, employer. Like I'm not sure what their relationship was. It was just clear that she was sticking with Frank, but she only went
And
with
she was
him.
loyal to him.
Yes, and she only went with him because he killed Frank. So I think it was more like
A
what
fear.
else am I gonna do? He's gonna kill me next. Because if I don't do what he
Also,
wants,
like,
I don't
if
think
her
that
whole
they
life
ever loved
revolved
each other.
around Frank, how is she?
Yeah.
Like, how is she
Yeah,
gonna live?
like he,
I'm
Tony-
sure that was a thought in her head.
What?
Yeah.
She was like, "What am I gonna do?" Or
Well, yeah, like
She's
I think
accustomed to a
she
certain
saw
lifestyle.
She saw two options in front of her.
Mm.
Don't go and die, either by him killing me or like I just die.
yeah, because I don't know how to
live.
work and I don't know
Yeah.
how to live. I'm
Or
addicted to
two,
cocaine.
Go.
Be
and
miserable,
go,
but
yeah.
have a nice lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she struck me as like I'm only in it for the money, which you don't. I wanted to hear more about her life story because we all like everyone in this film, like all men, it's very common for male characters to be like all about the money, and that's
Yeah.
like an admirable trait to have in a male character. But when
Yeah.
females do it, it's like, well, that's not right. You should like be different.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, she's all about the money. I can respect that.
Yeah.
If she just wants to be a sugar baby all her life, by
Let
God,
her
let her,
be.
let her be. And
she got her
and
priorities
he-
straight.
and
yeah.
and-
Yeah.
Out of everyone, she
yeah,
knew what
she knew what she wanted.
Yeah,
She
and
knew
she
who
survived.
she was. And she survived.
She
She
survived.
survived that bitch.
She survived.
because she knew what she wanted.
Yeah, and then she left. The
Well-
diner scene, she said, I'm leaving you. And then she did!
Well, Manny and Gina knew what they wanted. And they died.
Well,
Gina wanted something bad.
in a way,
Yeah, Gina
didn't
was
really-
crazy.
I think Gina didn't know
What the
what she
hell?
wanted. Though.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
'Cause
sorry.
I think she wanted her mom and her brother to get along, but obviously there was that conflict between the two.
I
Like,
think that...
how in a sane world, I feel like if she was thinking straight, she would have known like, oh,
Well, she's basically a
this
kid.
isn't like Yeah, that too.
Which feels like a little weird because again we're the same age, but it's
real.
like I don't know what I want in my
I don't know,
life.
I just feel like
To expect her to know that is like I think
She's
you
so
remember.
secluded.
I just feel like she could have known that. Like what her mother said is like stay away from him. He's bad luck or bad news.
She's disowned her own child. It's crazy.
Valid.
Yeah, but honestly, yeah. She's better than like, true crime documentaries where like the parents like my boy didn't do this and everyone was like, "Bro, cut your losses. Your son is a murderer
Yeah,
and
she
a
was
rapist."
probably the smartest one. The mom.
Yeah, the mom and Elvira got out of there. Good for them. In the club scene where Tony sees Gina dancing with a guy.
Oh yeah, that
and
was kind of weird.
and then there's the conflict where he's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And I'm just like, okay, so in the previous scene you said go have fun, but you don't want her to have fun the way you do.
No,
this is the wrong way to have fun.
So what are you doing?
So what are you doing? And I wrote notes about that, which was like, there was this weird like zoom into his eyes. He had like the psycho killer vibe. He had like
always like zoom in.
Yeah, there was a very specific musical sting.
Oh yeah, that little
ring. Yeah, and I was like, the dominoes that led up to him slapping her afterwards, which was like, okay, self-hatred, fear, projection, anger, because the zoom in read to me as like, oh my god, my mom was right, I ruined everything I touch, I'm gonna ruin Gina, I'm gonna ruin her, what the fuck are you doing here? And then that comes out as anger. Because he's projecting onto her to be like, if he had just like explained, this is not a safe place to be, I don't want you to be killed, and I don't want it to be because of me, she might have listened. But instead, he projected his own fear and his own self-hatred onto the situation, and then probably pushed her into a relationship with Noah. Yes.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So it's like, well, that just makes her want to do it more, and that's probably why she like rebelled by getting together with Manolo. Who knows if Manny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's Manolo, and then the nickname is Manny.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I thought Manolo was the other guy.
Which guy?
When was Bodyguards?
The one who he's like, hey, that scene was so funny. He was like, what about him? Manny was like, oh, what about him? And then it like zoomed.
Oh yeah, it's like, you want a job?
And he's like,
oh, Ernie.
Yeah, Ernie?
Yeah.
Oh.
That was funny. Oh yeah, Ernie, do you want a job? Sure.
That was really funny.
Once again, I guess I was clearly not paying that much attention to this movie, but I really liked it.
I'm really surprised.
Actually, it's a movie you can just. It would be a good background movie, and I'd probably just like watch it at the end.
I'm really surprised how many names I retained.
Yeah, I'm actually really impressed.
Usually I don't, and I didn't like it.
Do you even remember?
At the last episode, I think I was like, oh, it's this guy. It's this guy. Oh, it's that guy. And I'm like, what was that? What was his name? I think it was Bert.
Yeah.
Gary or something.
Gary or like, I don't know.
Gertie or.
Oh, but anyways, what was I saying? Oh, that scene was so funny. I thought it was so funny when
It's got good humor.
Do you want a job? And he was like, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And then he was like, okay, see me tomorrow. And then
Yeah.
and then he was like,
there's a few
thank you,
moments.
boss.
Yeah, there's a few moments of like really good comedic timing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like the hitman scene where you can see like it was after he slapped Gina and he's again slumped over like a toddler drinking alcohol and in a stupor.
Oh, in the nightclub?
In the nightclub, and
He's about to get
like
shot.
Oh, the
the
comedian.
comedian comes on,
Yes.
and the two guys are like with their guns and have napkins over it, and then they
It's
bring
just
it.
like, what do you
Yeah.
Yeah, and
they
bring
never
it
hide
up-
their guns in
They
the movie
bring
for
it
some
up to the
reason.
table, and like they're getting ready to shoot him, and then the next performer comes out, and they like put it away because it's
Yeah.
like, alright.
Like, you already have it out. You're trying to hide it, which you're doing an awful job.
I just thought it was so
Yeah.
funny because they're like, okay, get ready to kill this guy. Wait, this looks kind of interesting. Okay, hold on.
For real. It's also weird because, like, that's the thing I was talking about earlier. The way they treat, like, shooting guns is so weird. It's, like, mechanical. Like, they can't stop shooting once they pull the trigger. Like, when they shoot at the little comedian guy, but they're trying to kill Tony, like, they just don't move the gun at all. They just keep shooting the comedian. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And they empty a whole clip before, and then he just, like, peeks under the table. He's like, pew, pew, and he shoots her kneecaps.
Yeah.
And, like, they just let it happen. Like, they
Yeah.
don't chase after
My
him.
kneecaps.
Like, they just forget what to do after they empty their clip. That's all they can do is empty their clip.
Yeah, it's very late.
I think that's just a bit of dissonance between how it's like gunfights
how
are
it
filmed
was
now
before,
Yeah.
and how they're filmed
Now
before.
it's like, that's why I'm
Because-
telling you, action films now it's like
They did
you
evolve.
got this crazy like reload scene. It's like you gotta
Yeah.
toss it to someone
It's
and then
way
you gotta,
more
like,
engaging and dynamic.
He's like, I need a weapon.
Yeah.
it's like
And then a
slow
cool
motion.
reload, and then tactical reload. Then this one
Yeah.
is just like,
A good example of that is like the John Wick movies.
yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like the action on those is like crazy. Like
Yeah.
when is that ever
You know what
gonna
I think it
happen?
is? I think it's
Budget.
that I
No, it's just
think
the times.
times.
yeah, I think it like in the 80s it's like all you need to do is have guns and have them be shot on screen and that's like the
People are
thrill of
like,
it.
"Whoa."
But now we expect like I need some like dynamic action. I need some
Yeah.
engagement.
I need some kung fu.
Yeah. I need some actual like energy.
Yeah.
Like not just
Some
shooting people.
Crazy scene with some crazy montage and we got a movie.
I think
We
that's
got a
why I like this
Yeah.
one so much because it was refreshing to see like such a
I
like.
don't know. I just
plain
thought
one.
its pacing was it was long.
I found the
but
pacing
Yeah.
weird too.
It was like
Paced you
okay.
good? It was paced really good. I would
On first
agree.
Watch, I think I'm satisfied.
I was entertained
I
all the
was
way.
On my feet.
I actually didn't fall. Oh
He fell asleep.
no, I did not. My cat did though.
Yeah. Okay.
No, but I really, I don't know. I enjoyed it.
I also wanted to piggyback off of what you said about references.
To like other media.
To other, well, just like other.
Say hello to my little
films.
friend.
Oh yeah.
That's such an
completely
iconic
Did not realize that was
from Scarface.
Me
from
neither.
Scarface.
I thought it was from The
Until
Godfather.
You said it and you're like, where is he? I thought it was from The Godfather too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I know from
Until you
Scarface.
said it was, you're like, where's his line? Where's or like say hello to my
Yeah.
little friend, and I was like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
And then
Say hello to my little friend.
Oh yeah, that was so funny.
That was
Like,
awesome.
he was the only one who would say like something like that. Like what?
I think 20 million of the budget probably went into like gunpowder and like blanks and like explosions and
Probably.
squibs.
Like like lavish of it all.
The sets were
Crazy.
pretty impressive. If they weren't like, if they constructed that like mansion set, that's pretty cool.
And you know what? I will say this. I do like how many different settings there were. I found it very
it was New York.
interesting.
New York
There
was
was
such a
New
surprise.
York, and then there was Bolivia, and
Yeah.
then there was Miami, and then was that in Miami, or were they in LA at one point?
I think it
could've
was all
sworn-
Miami because they were like, "Oh, Miami, Florida, the place to be."
Yeah,
They're between there and New York. And
there was just a lot of different like set pieces, and I appreciated
it
that.
was nice. I also like the attention to detail. Like on his chair, there's a TM.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Tony Montana.
Yeah, there's a TM. I think like I want to say his little chest where he had his drugs in had like some monogram on there.
Oh,
I thought you were
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about his boobs.
And his boobs had a tattoo. He had a tramp stamp of Tony Montana.
What was his tattoo? Did we ever learn?
He had a
Like, what-
tattoo?
I didn't even know he had a tattoo.
That's what he was like. What's this?
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's the thing they do in prison to say that you were a hitman or something.
Yeah, I think
Remember-
that's what it was because we didn't talk about it afterwards.
Yeah. So I was like, what is?
I think that was literally just what it was, and then we didn't have to talk about it anymore.
There was this also like weird thing. How did the cop ask him? He was like, "Are you like homophobe, like,
Oh,
or,
Yeah,
like, homophobic
it's
or
like,
something like that?"
You like fucking men? You like dressing up like a woman?
But
Yeah.
This is going back to the times where it was like that's just never.
No, but you know what they say later on with Manny? He was like, "Yeah, look at that guy. He's like beautiful. Like I love that man." He's like, "Cause look how rich he is. Like look how he carries himself." So there's this weird thing about like
This
gays and
goes back
not
to
gays,
the-
but like male. I'm talking about
No,
like,
this is
gays, like
the-
with their eyes. With their
not homosexuals,
Yeah.
the male
I'm
gays.
talking about your eyes.
Yeah. Let's be clear here.
You can't.
That's funny.
GAZE.
Yeah,
Yes,
there you
not
go. There you go. Thank you.
GAYS. Yes.
Thank you. Imagine you spelled it wrong.
No, that's what it took me. I was like, G. I'm really bad at spelling. So
No.
that's why I was.
Wait, what were you saying again, Melissa?
What was I saying? Oh, this
About-
goes back into
yeah.
the male gaze and not how it views women only, but how it views men.
Yeah.
Because when you like put the male gaze like in the patriarchy towards men, other men, it's like
Like, oh, they're so successful.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
what are you doing? Like you're not doing all of these things to like fulfill the expectations of the patriarchy of what a man should be, of the gender binary. You're not doing this to impress women, you're doing this to impress other men. Because women's
That's so
validation
true.
women's validation in the eyes of the patriarchy means fucking nothing. You know why? Because they're viewed as objects, and you don't care what an object thinks. Well, you know what you do care about? You care about other men. You care about men above you. Their validation matters.
So Manny escaped the
I think Manny was at a turning point. I think his
He
character
definitely
arc
was.
was about to be like, oh,
Father.
not father, but I
Husband.
think he was gonna realize like
None of these men should reproduce.
that, and I don't know. I could have seen him being a well man, like a well put together man
Yeah.
in society.
Does he ever kill
could
anybody?
be. He
Yes,
kills.
does.
He kills Frank.
The cop?
He does
Yeah.
kill Frank. I was gonna say the other guy.
He
the
kills
cop, but
Frank,
no.
and then Tony kills the cop.
Oh, and he's like, kill him for me. He just pew pew.
Which is crazy to me. You would think you would want to kill him.
Ooh. Oh, Tony?
Yeah.
'Cause,
I
like,
thought it
that
was-
his
Yeah.
I think it's because
big father. But maybe he saw him as like such a figure
Big
that
papa.
he was like, I
Big
can't-
Daddy.
I can't kill you.
I think it was
Ah.
more of like he's trying to insult him in that way because
Or
before
like I could care little.
yeah, because before he dies, Tony is like, oh no, Frank is like, I never did nothing to nobody, and then Tony's like, yeah, I never did nothing to nobody because you paid someone else to do it for you, and then he's like, I won't
Oh, so he got
kill you.
back
Manny,
by
ice
having.
this motherfucker.
That was pretty. Man, on our first watch, you have like great memory
Yeah,
of these
it was
scenes.
so funny.
This
Before we
is my
started-
major.
Before we sat down, though, you were like, "Oh, I didn't really like take too many notes." I just watched it."
No, it's all in my
up there.
brain.
It's all up there.
No, if you compare this to like all the
To
other stuff I
Jaws
took
was
notes
crazy.
for,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, what was the comparison to Jaws? That's actually a good question. How do you compare that to Jaws?
Jaws, I
Film
liked
classic.
significantly more.
No, but more than that, like on a thematic like story level and all that.
I like Jaws significantly more on an emotional level. On an objective level, if I'm like comparing like the writing
Mhm.
competency, I still like Jaws better. But I don't think
Yeah.
either of them were like
I don't know. I just like how
There's a lot of men in
the-
both
the
films.
lot of men.
was
I
so
think-
funny. Like,
I'm
I feel
obviously
like,
very biased.
uh,
I just don't find the writing of Scarface to be that compelling to me
I just
personally.
thought
Mm.
it was funny. Like I
Yeah.
thought how because for a 3-hour long movie,
You're entertained.
it's just like a guy cussing you out. Half like not
Yeah.
even half of it, the full thing.
But
Yeah.
not even like in real
Like,
like cussing,
everyone.
like cuss words. It's just like random things. It's like I'll kill you like a gerbil in a hamster wheel. I was like, what? What are you saying? You cockroach. Like it's just like great. Like
I
wow,
don't
that
know.
was pretty funny.
From that aspect, I thought the writing was like so great because it like I was entertained.
I wonder what the screenplay looks like for this movie.
I want to know too.
I
'cause
wanna
that
do a
was
whole,
probably
like,
crazy.
7-hour YouTube video essay on both these movies.
Like imagine
Yeah.
being in the writing room and being like, oh, it's time to say cucaracha. Like,
Cockroach.
put it in there. Put it in there.
There's this like I guess there's like on a theme. Sorry, what am I saying? Thematically speaking, Jaws and Scarface relate to like capitalism and like monetary.
Mhm.
I forgot all about Jaws and its whole money thing, but there's a money plot. There's a money plot
because
here.
the mayor is like, this small town needs this tourist
Yeah.
money. We're gonna have it at any cost.
And also like Tony's like the shark. He's just killing everything in his path.
Or the
The-
tiger.
hold on.
Oh wait, no, he can't be the tiger because the tiger's the
Nope.
woman.
The tiger's Elvira. Is my mouse died?
Tiger is Elvira.
Hold on. Just gotta.
Oh, what
pop
else
the
like relates?
battery out.
This is a blonde girl.
Going back to the references, I heck forgot where I was going from this. We had watched Narcos before, and
Narcos.
then Narcos Mexico.
Yep.
And that one has a character, I forgot his name, but he's so obsessed with Scarface because he watches it for the first time.
Oh, that's right.
Mm.
What's
And he
his name?
makes it his
Ramon or
whole-
something? Or
I don't know if it's Ramon.
Rafa?
Rafa, that's his name. Rafa's character in Narcos Mexico. He basically makes it. He's a film bro. He makes it his whole personality trait,
Mhm.
and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be like him. Like I give no shits about anyone," and he really does. Honestly, the way he dies too is very like.
Scarface-esque.
Yeah, he goes out shooting guns ablazing.
I guess he got what he wanted done.
See, that's how I think. Yeah, maybe this movie did worse for humanity than it did good.
But
Some-
how's that
I
work?
don't
It's
think
just, like,
they was
tying
setting
in-
out to do good. Is the thing.
Yeah.
I don't think every
an
film
entertaining-
But
has.
I liked it. That's not to say it was a bad movie. I really enjoyed the movie.
I don't think every movie has the ethical consideration
What?
of like,
Not Batman.
am I putting good out into the world? I don't think every director is
Yeah.
like, I want to put good out into the world. I think it's like,
I
can
think
I
this
do
is
it?
telling a story and then making money off that story.
I think it has this historical.
You described the whole film industry in one sentence.
True.
Boom,
Tell a story and make money off the story.
Well, it does have like significant historical relevance because it's relating to like the crime,
Yeah.
the Cuban crime wave, the political refugees, the cocaine stuff. There was even like the bathtub scene. He's watching the news, and it's like some people think
the economic
yeah,
crisis
yeah.
or something
It's
like
so
that.
interesting because the guy on the TV is like, some people are of the opinion that legalizing this drug and taxing it is the way to stop this crime wave. And then I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. So that's what we did with weed like like a couple years ago. And then he's like, but I'm not one of those people. I'm like, fuck you. Then you're one of the people banking on like.
Aren't they trying to kill that guy?
I think he's trying to kill.
No,
they were
he
trying to kill a
doesn't
different
kill
guy.
him. He kills a different guy who was speaking bad of Sosa and his people.
Yes.
Wait, there's another scene we didn't talk about.
There's
the family.
3 hours of film. There's so many scenes we haven't talked
No,
about.
but like it's kind of important. The family one where he's gonna blow up the family, and he's
Oh
like he
yeah,
still has like morals.
some standards.
That
Yeah.
was crazy.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Which is so funny because I'm sorry, but it's so funny because he has standards. Look how he okay, so he has these morals like I won't kill a woman and and her kids, but then look how he treats the women in his life. Like his standards are so when it's convenient. Like he has some standards, but it's like you won't carry that into your daily life.
I feel like he gets away with it because it's his family.
Yeah.
Like he's the man of the house.
I possess this. It's mine.
But when it's like other people, he's like, no.
It's like,
Like
damn, that's
the
kind of
scene-
messed up.
like the
He's like, maybe we
scene-
shouldn't kill. And then he kills his partner.
Yeah, it is cold in here. But with the scene where Manolo is driving Gina back, and he's like, he kind of has like a father thing for you, and he's like, you're the only pure thing that he has in his life, and I'm like, but she's not a thing. She's not a thing that can be ruined.
Damn.
Because people are like,
So true.
people like to view women as like, you're either pure and good, or you're like soiled, you're ruined, and it's
Yeah.
like, you're describing a bed sheet, not a woman. A woman can't be ruined.
I bet you.
But you can only have that mindset if you don't view them as people. So it's like, Gina is the one good thing in his life, but she's not yours. But he thinks that she is because it's like that fatherhood, that possession of his family. It's like he feels he has ownership over her.
What sucks is we read this essay a little bit ago for our media, or we all read it, the media literacies, where it was about like every movie deals with like sex and sexuality, and ever since then I haven't seen a single movie that kind of doesn't like.
That doesn't.
Yeah, that sucks. I was like, what the heck? Now I just can't stop seeing how every movie talks about sex sells, I guess, but
It does. It very much does.
this movie is category
Yeah,
numero uno.
the scenes with nudity in them, all I could think was like, I really hope that actress was okay with that. I really hope, because there
yeah.
wasn't
This
like
is,
any
really
intimacy directors.
before,
This is
yeah.
before that
like
boom.
intimacy.
So I was
And
like,
even before,
I really hope.
stuff going on set, you know?
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
hope Gina's actress was okay with dying fully with her tits out. Like I really hope that
They were
was
like,
okay.
was that necessary for her character?
Was
I
it
think it like
necessary?
degraded her character. Actually, I
It
think it did
really
worse for her
did,
character.
yeah.
But that goes on to the male gaze because now you're like, oh wow, she was like so perfect, blah blah blah.
Like this is so sad
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
Look, we're shifting focus from her pain because she comes in there, she's drugged up because the goons said that they gave her pills to
Oh,
calm
yeah.
her
Who
down.
knows if they really gave
Who
her pills
knows
or
what
not.
the
Who
fuck
knows?
they gave her? But then she comes in and okay, we're gonna talk about like the very briefly. She comes in. It's like, oh, you don't want any other man to touch me. That means you want to fuck me.
Exactly.
That was a
Let's
180.
talk about that for a second because when he went to the house the first time and they were like interacting.
Oh yeah.
I full on got like, please don't kick. I think that this is his sister. Please don't kiss your sister.
Yeah.
Because I was getting vibes.
I thought it was his
I
girlfriend.
thought it was his girlfriend.
I was
Yeah.
getting
And then it
vibes
was
that
like, Mama.
I was
like,
getting like,
what?
oh my god, please don't have these siblings have like romantic
right now?
food.
Yeah.
Like don't have that be the thing because they were not interacting like siblings, which maybe it was just because neither of the actors have siblings, but I have many siblings and it's like you don't interact like that even if you're both adults.
Yeah.
And even like and he keeps bringing up that she's his kid sister and that makes it
Yeah,
even
what
worse
is
and it's
that?
like stop putting
Yeah.
your hand
Why
on
is
her
he wording
waist.
it like that?
Stop
But
putting
he
your
actually
hand on her
he is
waist.
disgusted by when she says that. I'm pretty sure.
He's very disgusted. I don't think he had any ill intentions. It was just like it
No.
was just a feeling I had. I was like, please don't have this be the plot.
Yeah, she just got degraded so much that she was like, I'm only good for like sex. Like what? How did that happen? How?
Because he keeps viewing her through the lens of
Because
sex.
he keeps killing her lovers,
That
bro.
is true.
He keeps
He keeps
yeah.
thinking that she's gonna sleep around, and he even like calls her out on it, and he's like, "You're gonna go
You're gonna
around
go make
with
out
these
and
guys and blah
yeah.
blah blah. Like, what is this?" And he like
Yeah.
Kills
feel
them.
bad about it. Like, let her have. And she was like, "Let me have fun." Like, blah blah blah.
She's probably still a virgin. Like she probably hasn't had sex at all,
They got
if not
married.
much, and then got married, and then it's like, well, I guess this is it. I can't get away from you, and if this is
Yeah.
what it's gonna be, this is probably her breaking point. And I agree. Why did she die with her boobs out? Was that necessary?
No,
I don't think that was
No.
necessary.
That
weird.
was.
That was male gazy.
No,
I,
it was.
I don't know.
I was like, why is she like half naked right now?
Yeah,
Like,
explain this to me.
she was covered up. The whole.
Cause she only had panties and her little silk robe on.
Yeah.
Because she got dragged from the house right
No, but
after
she
that
was covered
happened.
up even
She
then.
was
Mhm.
covered
Like,
up
I
then
don't know
because
how
she had
got
tied it.
undressed. Oh, because she was trying to. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyways.
There's a weird part.
I don't know.
really
You
weird
could.
part of
I
the
mean,
movie.
you gave her drugs, but you couldn't put a T-shirt on her.
Yeah. At
This
least
it
dress
just
her up,
felt
guys. Jesus.
like a little bit. Even a T-shirt
But
would have been better.
Who knows what happened to her too? You know, it could be implied that something happened because she was knocked out.
Her being dragged into the house screaming, it felt very much like I know that there are no
Oh yeah,
intentions.
because she's like, it's Tony's house. It's Tony's house.
Yeah,
or something.
it didn't like. I think she was in shock, and then she realized that this is Tony's place, and she got dragged in there, but against her will, screaming and crying. And I was like, this feels very like. If this was a different movie, this would be the part where like
Something bad would happen.
a gangbang happens or something.
No, for real.
Yeah.
And we don't know if that happened like off screen or if that's like
Implied.
implied. You know, just
Yeah.
because.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
think they did do anything, but I just think if I don't know, if you grow up as a woman or someone who's femme presenting, you're
Yeah.
thinking about this stuff.
Mhm.
And it's just like Elvira too, like they didn't get married for love, they got married because either she's scared or she doesn't have any other options. You know her ass didn't marry him for love. And also he's
No,
like
I never once thought she was in love with him.
No.
I was like, there's no way this relationship.
I think he was in some type of love with her.
Oh yeah, but I don't think she. I think
It was
she
more
kinda
like
feared
obsession.
him,
Yeah.
but also like she was like,
I don't have any other
Yeah,
options.
I kind of had to go with you, I guess.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like the diner scene where Tony is like, I can't even have kids with her because her
yeah,
womb
I
is so
was like-
polluted. And I'm like, you shouldn't reproduce anyway, so that's probably for the best.
You didn't even want to.
Yeah,
Before I
and
think
that-
someone mentioned it.
Yeah, and I think that I think in his confession of like his love for her, he's like, I want to have kids and I want you to be the mother of my kids. And I think that goes back to like one of the quote unquote traditional values of the patriarchy of masculinity is that you be a monetary provider, but you also be a father. That's one of like the checkpoints of success. And this is like how I said he tracks success monetarily through his drug empire. That is directly contradictory to the value of being a father, and he doesn't even realize it because he thinks that he's succeeding
Yeah.
in
and, like,
his like financial
business,
stuff,
yeah,
in
yeah.
his
So he's
business
like,
side.
now I need
So
to
I
be
can
a father.
provide. I can provide, so now I need to be a father. But the way that he's
Okay.
doing it is wrong, like his mother said. So it's like you can't even be a husband.
Mhm.
You can't be a father.
Yeah.
Look
He
how you
wasn't
treat.
even a husband.
No,
he was
like-
just, like married.
You
For
married
real.
a.
Even then, when someone, I think he goes to Sosa's house and he's like, "Hey, how's the wife?" Oh, I think it's implied that she was pregnant,
Mm,
and then, they make a comment about like being a mother, starting a family, and he's like, "Oh yeah," I think he
yeah,
basically like insults.
just brush it off.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, she won't have kids," blah blah blah.
Yeah.
We don't even sleep around. I think something along those lines.
Mhm.
And it's interesting to kind of see after that conversation, you see his character shift where he's like, "Oh, I need to be a dad."
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, I feel like he had no intention of being
I
a dad.
think
He
I-
like had no. If that whole conversation didn't happen, I don't think he would have wanted to be a dad. Or
I
even,
think
like,
there's
thought about
a-
being dad.
I think there's another aspect of the patriarchy where it's like I need to leave a legacy behind, and one way you do that is by having a
Maybe
bunch of babies.
afterwards, yeah.
But once he realized like I'm not gonna have kids, he fully goes into the money. It's like I need to make this the biggest it can be, and it just spirals from there.
And he didn't know who to leave it to because apparently
No.
he didn't even trust Manny
No.
to do a deal.
Which is fucked up because he
Yeah.
started you in this business. He's literally the only person you could trust.
Was he the one that ran in and saved him after the chainsaw?
Yeah, I think that was Manny.
Yes, that was
Okay.
Manny and one other guy. I don't remember his name.
Probably unimportant. He
I'll-
probably died.
To end this, I want to say that it took me 2 days to watch this movie, and last night I had a really weird dream where I dreamed the
Tony
end of the
Montana.
movie.
What?
It was
Oh.
different from the actual ending, obviously, because I didn't watch it. But it was I dreamed my own ending to the movie.
Was yours better?
I like mine better.
Okay, tell us.
So
I'm ready.
from what I remember, it
Closing
was
my eyes.
basically
Okay, we close eyes too.
it was all canon up until like he made it big in like the cocaine business, and then it was like he did something bad, and then there was like a hit out on him, and then Manny was like fuck all that, we can just go to a tiny island in the Caribbean, and then
Oh.
him.
wow.
They left money to his family, like Gina and his mom. They just left that money, and then they got out of whatever the name is.
Got out of Dodge.
Got out of Dodge, and left, and they live happily on an island. Him and Manny.
Just
Yeah.
Manny and
That
him?
would've been a nice ending.
Yeah,
That is a nice ending.
Honestly,
And their
because
Not
we
in this
didn't
world.
Get to the top.
yeah,
That movie's
And
called
in a way,
Face
they
Scar.
respect-
yeah. In a different timeline, it's just a wholesome.
No, it's Scar Island.
Scar Island, or just Scar, like Lion King.
Yeah, they have like a Hannibal Lecter and Will Graham type relationship.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I've seen that.
Not, you know what? I haven't watched it, but
Yeah, I don't know
hear
that.
it's really gay. So,
Ah,
Oh.
oh,
but it's also very bad for both of them. So it's
on our
like,
next episode,
Oh,
Yeah.
Hannah Full.
toxic husbands is my ending. They live in an island in the Caribbean, very wealthy, because
That's good for them.
Yeah, good for
Honestly, a
them.
Good ending.
good
all
for
around.
them.
The mom happy that her son's away.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Gina lives.
Yeah, they send postcards.
She gets her license.
She
the
gets-
cosmetology
yeah.
license.
Also, side note, he comes in, he's like,
That's
she's
not
like,
a
she's like
dream.
happy to be a cosmetologist. She's like, I'm gonna get my license in 2 years, and he's like, well, you don't have to do that anymore. And I'm like, does she want to not work? Because it seems like Elvira got that job. Like, she's just
Yeah.
a thing that lies around with this lifestyle, and it's like you're trying to give that to her, but she's happy to work. Elvira's not happy,
Yeah.
and you say to her in a later scene, why don't you get a job? So it's like this.
No, yeah.
It's this whole thing. There's so many layers.
It's a crazy movie. Watch
Yeah.
it or don't.
Yeah.
Watch it or don't. That's my recommendation.
No,
Yeah.
I say watch it. It's pretty good.
What do you rate it?
It's interesting. I'll give it
Out of 10.
8 out of 10. I'll give it a solid 8. It's like pretty. It was above average.
What did we rate Jaws?
I don't know.
10
I,
sharks out of 10?
I think I might have said like 10 sharks out of 10.
I'm sure it might have been like 500.
I think so.
I think 8 is pretty good. I say we'll watch it.
I would give it like a 8 2.
Oh, 8.2.
No, like an 8.
No, I'm just kidding.
8 as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I was gonna say 7, but I liked it more than a
8
7.
8
Yeah.
cockroaches out of 10.
Eight
Oh,
cockroaches
yeah.
out of 10, yeah.
8 cockroaches.
We should do like a themed rating every
Okay,
time.
okay.
That's fun. I didn't plan for this to be like a rating podcast. It's really just talking, but this is fun.
No, this is fun.
What was your rating? On this
I
one?
would rate it 5 cockroaches out of 10.
Oh,
5
I was gonna guess 6 for
cockroaches.
you.
5 cucarachas.
That's
That's pretty
fair.
good.
Because I wanna give the flowers where it's due. It is another like historical landmark. I brought this up to my dad, like my parents and my nana, and it was funny because my dad. I was an hour in at this point, and I was like, I'm so fucking bored. And my dad was like, oh, it's like one of the best films. And my mom was like, I know of it. And then my nana was like, fucking boring, right? And I'm like, yeah. So it's just funny how like I don't
Your
even
dad
know.
was like, it's awesome.
My dad was like, "Oh, it's so cool! It's one of the best films ever made." And
So much action
and
in it.
and then the women in my life were both like, eh.
Maybe that's why. Oh, shit. I'm actually just part of the status
Oh my God.
quo. No!
No.
Come here, you cockroach. You cockroach. You won't fuck on me. That's what he always says. He's crazy.
That is all he says.
Anyways,
You're an honorary film bro now.
let's give a moment of silence for Tony Montana. Thank you guys for talking about it. It was actually really fun. I enjoyed it.
This was
Yeah.
very fun. Next week,
Next
Laser
week is-
Hawk.
Yes.
Laser Hawk.
So logistics on that. Do you want us to start watching it, or
You can start watching it.
okay? What episode should we go up to?
Well, there's only
Should
6.
it be a 2-parter or?
You know,
I feel
Do we
like it
wanna-
should.
Do we want to have it be a 2-part where we talk about the first 3 episodes and then
Yeah.
the second
Oh,
one,
that'd
the
be kinda
next 3
cool.
episodes?
Is there like a good storyline where something like crazy happens in the second half?
Yes.
After 3 episodes?
Yes.
Okay.
Alright,
Then let's do a 2-part.
I gotta check. Okay, we'll figure that out later. But thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next week. Thank you, Pacific Tiger Broadcasting. Bye bye.
Rawr.